The dust has officially settled on the Amari Cooper trade to the Buffalo Bills. And heading to Buffalo is a guy that had become Cleveland's number one receiver, their number one option over the past 2.5 seasons. What's staying in Cleveland is a big gaping hole that you're going to look to one of three guys to fill and to become the new number one receiver for the Cleveland Browns. Anthony Meglin here with another quick game show on Cleveland Browns on SI. And tonight we're trying to figure out a way to solve or fill the gaping hole that has been left by Amari Cooper's departure. And what is leaving Cleveland, heading east on Route 90 to Buffalo and to Josh Allen, is a guy who on the year so far, 24 catches for 250 yards and just 2 scores. Those 2 scores came in one game when the Browns were kind of trying to force feed him, keep him happy, and make sure that he was going to want to stick around for a while. Obviously, that didn't work, and Amari is off to greener pastures. What is staying in Cleveland is a massive need for a number one receiver. Yes, Amari Cooper has been your number one for the last 2 years, but it doesn't take or it's no secret that he was struggling early on this year, had a couple of timely drops, had a couple of big drops, and some that would have changed games, others that maybe wouldn't have. But ultimately, it doesn't much matter. I said it last night in this same quick game show that it felt like Amari, his relationship with the Cleveland Browns was fractured when his name started popping up in some of those Brandon Ayuk trade rumors. And you could kind of tell with his play in the field that he wasn't all the way locked in and wasn't a guy who felt like wanted to be a Cleveland Brown. So he gets his wish, heads over to play with Josh Allen. And for the Browns, they're going to look to one of these 3 guys: Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, or Cedric Tillman. On the year so far, Jerry Jeudy leads the way. And unfortunately, this thought just popped into my head. These stats are quite embarrassing to read after 6 weeks, and it's nothing to do with these guys. The bigger problem is who's pulling the trigger. But Jerry Jeudy, 20 catches for 248 yards and 1 score. Elijah Moore, 16 grabs for 95 yards and no touchdowns. And Cedric Tillman, 3 catches for just 9 yards, no scores there. Cedric Tillman's more the question mark in that group, I would say. He's been a guy in year 2 now who in college he had a ton of success as a deep threat in a Tennessee offense that was very college. It was spread the field out totally wide and just basically run vertically down the field. Obviously, you need a little bit more nuance in the NFL. He's got a long way to go, and I think he's more of a question mark than Elijah Moore or Jerry Jeudy is. But regardless, maybe this is his time to step up. Coach Stefanski today in his media availability talked about how, hey, we are losing a guy that we loved, and a guy that even he said he's Mr. Non-Emotion, but even he said he and Amari were pretty close. But it's a great opportunity for some of the other guys in that room, and Cedric Tillman is certainly one of those guys. Another guy that I have circled as somebody who, if I was calling this offense, would try to maybe not force feed, but really make the centerpiece of the offense. And it's a guy that frankly should be until he gets out of his prime, is David Njoku. Njoku so far in the year, 10 catches for 89 yards in just 3 games, no touchdowns, no scores. But we saw his capability last year when Joe Flacco was in town and he was using the tight end the way that the tight end should be used. And Njoku absolutely has top 5 tight end abilities within him. So look for Njoku to become more of a focal point of this Cleveland Browns attack. But you're also going to get a jump start in the run game. Not only is Nick Chubb going to be back for the Cleveland Browns, we've got a ton of content covering that move here next week, but also Nyheim Hines is expected to play on Sunday. So that gives you a little jolt in that running back room, a room that sorely needs it and needs it bad. Do I expect Nick Chubb to get 20, 30 carries on Sunday? I do not, especially if the season keeps going the direction it is. I would anticipate Nick Chubb getting enough carries to make the fans happy, but enough also limit his carries to make sure that he's healthy for next year, because it seems like all signs are pointing towards that direction. But there's going to be a lot of guys that contribute to filling in the hole that Amari Cooper is going to leave. And I look to Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, and Cedric Tillman to make the biggest impact. Subscribe to our channel here on Cleveland Browns on SI. We appreciate you jumping in. I appreciate you jumping in with me as we talk wide receivers tonight. But we got you covered all week long with short videos just like this. And then on game days, we got you covered with some pregame shows, some postgame shows, and all the content coming from the podium from all the guys, and as well as some interviews from the locker rooms. So we got you covered here. Subscribe to our channel. You'll be alerted every time we go live here. Also, head over to our other website, si.com/NFL/Browns for all of our written content, where we got you covered wall to wall as the Cleveland Browns move on from Amari Cooper and try to figure out a way to fill his production. And it starts this Sunday when they welcome the Cincinnati Bengals to town for a 1 o'clock kick down at Huntington Bank Field.